Hey, Hawkeye fans, welcome back. Well, today we are talking all things Hawkeyes and what's been happening in Iowa news in the offseason. And we've got a fantastic guest, Marco Lainez from Iowa Football, joining us today. Welcome back to Talkin' Hawks, the offseason, presented by Estella's. Well, Matt, I'm so excited that Estella's is our presenting sponsor of the offseason.
Yeah, they always bring delicious food. It's unbelievable. And we go there often enough, but the fact that they give us fresh food like this every time is incredible.
It is the best, fresh, build your own burrito bowl, whatever you want. It is the best in the Iowa City, Coralville area.
Do you have a go-to?
A go-to?
Yeah.
You don't want to know my order. I get so much stuff in it. I do. I'm not like you, because what do you get?
I get the buff. Chill out. I get the buff. It's the pancake one. It's the breakfast one. It's unbelievable.
I do build your own. Ready? Grilled chicken. No rice. Black beans. Corn salsa. Mild salsa. I also like their green salsa as well. Salsa verde. I think that's what it's called. Sour cream. Guacamole. Queso. And shredded cheese.
Yeah, that's a burrito.
You fill it up. It's so good. Estella's, the best.
Yeah, really excited that they were able to pair with us.
So if you are looking for locally owned, fresh food made with love, check out Estella's today. Hi, Matt.
Hey.
How's it going?
God is good.
Oh, man. We are in the thick of the off season. It is June currently. So let's just start with football because why not? What are they doing right now?
So summer workouts, they might have had a week off here, but then you're getting after it. So it's like roughly 45 minutes worth of speed work, which is like your power plyos, and then sprint work as well as like agility work. So cone drills, stuff like that. Then another 45 minutes of lifting. So whatever the emphasis is that day, whether it's upper body, lower body, that kind of stuff. Okay. And then you end up with, it's a quicker conditioning because now you're into like actual conditioning. So game simulators, things like that, where you're running X amount of 55s, which is like a 55-yard sprint. They're timed. There's 60-yard shuttles, which is 15 yards back, 15 yards down, back, certain time. And then I don't know if they still run cut 85s, but that's down 15, back 15, and then you sprint 55 yards, and all those are timed. And you'll do that X amount. I think it's like 6 reps technically is roughly a quarter. So they'll work up to 4 quarters in overtime. So you're doing like 30 some reps after the lift, after the speed work. So getting after it a little bit.
So when you say they're all timed, is it like they just see what your time is, or there's a time expectation?
Time expectation. So there's skill guys, semi guys, and line guys. Skill guys are like quarterbacks, or excuse me, not quarterbacks, receivers, DBs, running backs. And then
why'd you say it like that? Not quarterbacks.
No, they're not skill guys. Then there's semis, which are quarterbacks, linebackers. And then line is O-line, D-line. And there's expectations for each one. So like they'll stand there in the middle. And
so if you take a skill guy versus an O-line guy, how many seconds discrepancy is there between those two?
So there's always, usually it's like 1 or 2 seconds. It's 1 second more for the semis, 1 second more for this line on 55s and 60s. Cut 85s, they might get an extra second, like 2 extra seconds.
1 second.
To run 55 yards, we have 7 seconds. Semi has 8 seconds. Line has 9 seconds. I don't think you understand, like 9 seconds to run 55 yards for an O-line. They typically don't miss 55s.
Huh.
And you have to have at least 1 foot over, otherwise it counts as a miss. Then you have to make up for the misses.
I feel like if I was an O-line guy, I'd be like, Matt Vandeberg gets 7 seconds. I want 15. Like he weighs 162. I weigh 380. Give me some time.
You don't have to call me out like that. Anyway, so it's like that, and then the 60s, and so like the whole skill guys go at once, and they got guys making sure you're behind the line and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a well-run operation.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's after lifting and sprint work.
Yeah. And that all happens in the morning?
Now it does. There used to be you'd have 2 morning lifts and then like a 1:30 in the afternoon.
So you can't do anything all day. Your day's just blocked off.
Well, you're just thinking about it all day, and then you go at the hottest time of the day. We always said that we were the strongest because we went out there when it was super sunny.
Okay.
Everybody else got their work done early, but now I think everything's pretty much done in the morning.
Gotcha. All right.
Which is nice.
Cool. Any other updates on the football front in terms of news? Have you heard anything? We got a couple of transfers. Northwestern quarterback. Do you know anything about him? You can say no. It's okay.
I watched him. No. I watched him play a little bit last year.
Okay.
So he's got some game tape, which is good. He's a Big Ten quarterback. As with anything, it's just how does he fit Lester's system? You know, we saw a little snippet of it during the spring game, bunches, motions, RPOs, stuff like that. But how does this guy fit into it? How's he going to learn the system? Is it, what caters to what he does best? Because I think that's when a system can really take off, is when you understand how your players move and function, and then you pick the plays that help support them the most.
Okay. That makes sense.
But we also had a transfer. I don't want to say he quit though either.
Okay.
Ben Keeter.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to say he quit football.
No, he said he's coming
right.
back. He said he's coming back. He's not done with football forever.
Wait, I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh.
I saw the post that just said that he's like pursuing a world title.
You pay no attention to anything. He said that this year he was
that
taking
caffeine
off.
Kicked in. Laura looks at caffeine and she's good for a week.
I know. It's so bad. If I finish this whole drink, I will be like having heart palpitations at 10 p.m. It happens every time.
Every time.
Yes, Ben, look at your girly drink. You don't get to talk about mine when you have a little purple.
It tastes good.
Straw sipping drink.
It tastes good.
Get you some black coffee, a real man's drink.
I ain't drinking that. I actually want to enjoy what I taste. Anyway.
I'm like 100% sure that I saw that. I don't know how you missed that.
But he would come back after this next run?
He said he wasn't done playing football. He said that like this year he was really focusing on, winning a title.
And if you want to hear more about that, we already did an episode with him. But like how cool to have that ability to just do that.
Just an option.
Like unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. He just won, he's on a world's team somehow, somewhere. I don't know the ins and outs of that.
So that must be
world.
kind of how it started that path.
I think so. Yeah. So pretty cool.
That's very
He also
cool.
got a lot more tattoos since we saw him last. It's like every time he posts a picture, I'm like, that's a new one. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, really exciting for him, and obviously really exciting for the wrestling team. Another exciting thing about the wrestling team is the new wrestling facility. Have you seen it?
Is it done?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's insane.
I mean, it looks crazy from the road.
Ridiculous.
But I didn't know if it was done on the inside.
Yeah, it looks like Darth Vader's training facility. Like it looks so intense. It's really cool.
It's the only way to do it, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. I can't wait. I haven't gone through it. I've just seen pictures. So hopefully I get to go through it at some point. But that women's basketball, new head coach.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have been.
Jan Jensen.
Yeah. And congratulations to Lisa Bluter.
And Lisa Bluter. Yeah.
The amount of people that have been like, did you know? Like, of all people, I know. There's no reason.
Oh, beforehand?
On planet Earth that I should know if she's retiring when everyone else was caught off guard. No, I had no idea. I was very shocked. But also when you look at it to the point of like, she's kind of done all the things, right? She's got Caitlin Clark, the star, like led her in the best way she possibly could. And went to 2 national championship games. Back to back. Won a Big Ten. How many Big Ten championships? Won. It's just like, there's just so many things that she's done. And so to like rest your hat on that. Is that what they say? Hang your hat. There it is. Hang your hat on that is like, I just think it's really cool. And a lot of times, and maybe she will go to coach like the WNBA or whatever. And they said she's still going to be, and I don't know
around,
that.
Right.
I don't want to start that rumor, but I mean, maybe she will continue to coach in some capacity.
Most
but
people
they said
can't leave Iowa.
Yeah, she said she's still going to like be around, which is really cool. I just don't know in what way. But the other thing is, I think sometimes coaches just don't know when to be done. Kind of in the same way, like with athletes, right? Like you kind of have to be shoved out. Otherwise, it's like, oh, I can keep going. I can keep going.
It's that quote, right?
What is it?
You're the hero. You're the hero until you live long enough to become the villain.
Right. Yeah. And some coaches, they don't ever become the villain. But I feel like a lot of times they kind of do. So really cool to see her do that. And not to say that Lisa would ever become the villain, but
I'm going to miss the foot stomp.
I know.
See it on TV. Bang, bang.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And no one more deserving than Jan, obviously, to take that over. And another one of the assistant coaches was, she retired as well, Fitzpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was cool. Good for her too.
With women's basketball, you can't go anywhere on social media without seeing something about Caitlin Clark.
I know.
And I don't think we need to talk about it a lot, but what I think is really cool is that I still haven't heard anything bad coming out of her camp. You hear all these sound bites from like all these people. You know who doesn't have a sound bite? Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And that to me, I think speaks the fact that she's not saying those things and not having sound bites speaks more than anything else.
Oh yeah. Totally agree.
Because everything's setting it up for her to do something and she's just kind of like.
Yeah. There was like, she was like rookie of the week,
Month, I think.
something like that, which obviously, but it was like 100 plus points, 50 plus this, 50 plus that, or whatever it was. And I was like, also 50 plus no calls and 100 plus bruises.
And the people just dropping the ball. So she's not getting the assists.
Yeah, it's tough. We won't really get into it. There's enough of that on social media, but super cool to see her doing exactly what she does and doing it with grace and style and all the things. So I don't know if there's really anything else to catch up on Iowa news, but in Talkin' Hawks news, something we're throwing around a little bit. I'm looking at you, Talkin' Hawks fans out there. We are tossing around the idea of having a live recording show. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah.
Live show recording. That sounds better. Would probably be in August.
We're talking over with a few different venues, but we feel confident that we can get something figured out.
Yes.
So if that's something you'd be interested in, please comment or say something because...
And we'd obviously, it wouldn't just be me and Matt. How boring. We'd have some great...
We'd have cool people up here.
Really cool guests. And it wouldn't be in our studio. It'd be elsewhere in a venue that could hold a lot of people. But yeah, with some great guests and some other fun things. I don't know. This is just an idea we're tossing around. So keep it in your mind, in your calendar, sometime end of August.
There was a couple comments. We teased some Talkin' Hawks merch. I was wearing something. We
Yep.
do have a little bit of merch.
We do. We haven't exactly released it yet. These are all things that are happening. We're in the process of it. This is all new. Yeah. So this football season, I think there's going to be a lot more happening with Talkin' Hawks. So keep your eyes out.
We're going to have to just keep talking Hawks.
Okay.
Pun intended.
Okay. I'm going to move on from that.
That's fine.
Well, we have a fantastic guest today. This is someone that I feel like we haven't heard enough from. And I'm super excited to get to know him a little bit better, get to know his story, and for everyone else to get to know his story too. I know there's a lot of talk about quarterbacks and who's transferring and what that room's going to look like and who's leaving and who's coming here and all of the things and who's injured and who's not, right? Like,
and coaching and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just like a really weird room in the past, like 6 months, let's say. Maybe even more than that. Maybe like the past
You could probably say
9
year.
months. something along those lines. Anyway, so we are super pumped to talk to Marco Lainez and get to know his story a bit more. And we'll be right back with that. Did you know that Iowa City Tire does more than tires?
I mean, yeah, they've been servicing vehicles in the corridor for like 40 years.
Okay, but did you know that before someone had to tell you?
No. No, I didn't.
Well, check out how they're doing things in a very different way at Iowa City Tire and Service.
Where service actually comes first. Call 319-338-5401. Need a new roof, gutter, or siding in Eastern Iowa? Call JB Roofing, a local and reliable roofer with over 20 years of experience. They do one roof at a time, unlike others who juggle multiple projects and cut corners. They also serve a 45-mile radius around Kelowna and can help you with any insurance claims. Don't wait. Call 319-656-ROOF or visit their website, jbroofingkelowna.com, for a free estimate. JB Roofing, the small town roofer you can trust.
All right, it is time to hop into this week's interview. And today we have Marco Lainez. Marco, how's it going?
Good.
Did I say your last name correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah?
A lot of people mix it up a lot, but it's Lainez. It's pretty much
How do people say it sometimes?
Lainez, Lanes. I've gotten Lanes a few times.
I would have said Lanes.
Yeah, I've gotten everything under the sun.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, how's it going? How's summer going?
Good. We just started our phase actually yesterday. And, those workouts are no joke. He knows them.
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting because this is my first summer as I've been around the block once. So the training's a little bit different with the programming. Last year I got here around this time and it was kind of just like baby stepping us.
Were you in like the Devo 2 group?
Yeah. Well, the first Devo group. Yeah.
Got you. So now you're in like the...
Devo 2s now.
Oh, you start in Devo and then Devo 2s.
Start in Devos, then it's
Got
Devo
you.
2, and then it's team advanced.
Right.
I don't know the levels. I just do what I'm told.
Understood.
That's the Iowa way.
It's
Right.
probably easiest that way too. Okay, let's start off with where are you from?
So I'm from New Jersey.
Okay.
I was born in Atlanta, lived there for about 5 months, and then moved up here or not here, but New Jersey, and then just grew up there. Entire
Gotcha.
life.
I feel like I was trying to hear an accent, but I don't hear one.
Yeah, no, everybody says I don't have one, but I mean, I
Did you come here and then try and get rid of it?
No, I
Or you just haven't had one the whole time?
just haven't had one.
Do your parents have one?
No.
Really?
Well, I actually don't know because I wouldn't be able to hear it.
Well, that's fair.
You know.
Okay. That makes sense.
Are there some words that we need to make him say at some point to see if
Car
he has...
keys, right? Or is that more Boston than I'm thinking?
I feel like that's Boston.
Coffee.
That didn't sound bad.
No, that's he just came up with one right there.
He's like, I'll start saying stuff.
Right, because some people say coffee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
you hear
I mean, I guess it's kind of a New York thing.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Okay, siblings.
So, two. I got one older sister and then one younger sister.
Oh, you're the middle child.
I am a middle child.
You're a good part of the Oreo.
Okay.
You're a good part of
I
the sandwich.
am the youngest
Sorry.
sister, and then I have an older, like the oldest child is a sister, and then our middle child, like middle kid, is a brother. And
Oh,
so
okay.
same kind of situation.
Right.
But I feel like sometimes my brother got left out. Did that happen to you?
I would say, depending on what, the situation was.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I are really close. So,
Okay.
we would always bond. But like, if the sisters want to go do something, I'd be like, I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'd get left out
Gotcha.
in that situation. But no, nothing much.
Okay.
Are you guys close in age?
Yes. So my older sister is 23 and then my younger sister is 18 and I'm 20.
Okay.
Oh, very close.
Yeah, that's a lot different than yours.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Are they athletes?
No, I got the athletic.
You took it all?
Yeah, I took it all.
I'm glad you're modest about it. That's
Right.
good.
Yeah. So are they still in New Jersey? What do they do?
So my older sister, Bella, she is working in Manhattan, but she lives at home. And then my younger sister is freshman at Penn State.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Dang.
What's she studying?
I gotta say finance or marketing.
I like that you don't know because you didn't care enough when she went to Penn
Right,
State.
right, I
You're like,
don't-
that's it.
yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't-
listening to this.
I don't know, but I know she likes the sports marketing area. So I don't know if she's gonna work there for the team, but
Cool.
it sucks.
Oh man. Do we play them this year? This
No,
coming year?
we
Okay.
do
I
not.
don't think so.
We
Gotcha.
got destroyed by them
Well,
last year.
we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
No, we're looking ahead.
Right,
That's what
I
we're
mean,
all
you
about.
learn from the tape, you look back, you assess, you figure out what you can do better, and then you move forward.
right.
I'm sure you haven't heard that before.
I got all the coach talk just ingrained.
What was childhood like with you three? Like
Since you had all the athleticism, you didn't get dragged to their events. So, like, what did that look like?
I would say we were just a normal three siblings, just in each other's hair,
Mm,
out of each other's hair. I guess we grew closer as we grew up because I just think we had certain experiences within the school district, and then we could always
Mhm.
bounce ideas off of each other. But yeah, I mean, I definitely grew closer with them as I grew up. So that's
Gotcha.
what it was like.
What were they like? So, obviously, you were the athlete, but did they also do sports?
Yeah.
Okay.
My younger sister did gymnastics for bunch of a long time, but then she quit it and then she went to cheerleading in
nice.
high school. And
Do you
then
think it's a sport?
I declined to answer. I plead the fifth there. But and then my older sister, she played volleyball in high school,
Okay.
ran track, but
Just
she
not
doesn't-
good.
She doesn't have a competitive bone in her body.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel that the competitive thing. I'm like, sure, you win. Good job.
Right.
What did you play as a kid? What sports did you play?
Oh, I played everything under the sun. Soccer, football, baseball, basketball, track and field.
You do lacrosse out there?
I did for 1 year.
What'd you think?
I hated it. I hated it. I don't know why I didn't like it. I think I just did it because a bunch of my friends at the time were doing it. And
Peer pressure.
my dad was like, just give it a shot. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying it at least. But I played the entire season. I was like, this ain't for me.
Didn't probably running too much.
Maybe.
Now he's a quarterback, sit in the pocket.
Yeah. Right.
That's fair. What position did you play with baseball?
I was a first baseman, a
cool.
right-handed first baseman. That's very,
Interesting.
Yeah.
You weren't a pitcher?
no, I was not a pitcher.
Dang.
Yeah.
How long did you play baseball for?
I played baseball up until 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Up
once
until
you
eighth
got to high school, did you kind of have to decide what you were going to sport you're going to specialize in, or did you continue playing other sports when you were in high school?
Yeah, I was actually talking about that with somebody just a few days ago. Like, the world now is so specialized. Like you have to specialize to do this, to do that. Man, if I could go back, I wish I would play every sport. I had such great experiences just with the different types of players on each team, the dynamics. You learn different types of people, and then you also get involved with different types of people in their lives and what they do. And like if baseball's his favorite sport and mine is football, but we connect because I'm on the baseball team, I made a friend that way. But so when I was in high school, my freshman year, I gave up basketball and baseball, focus on football, and I did track because the football players had to do track.
Sure.
And then my sophomore year, I was going to transfer the year after. So I knew that headed into the winter, and I was like, dude, I want to play basketball again. And I had a great coach. I had great teammates, and it was probably one of the funnest times of my high school career because I was just playing basketball, and I wasn't very good.
Well, it's probably carefree at that point, right?
Yeah, I was just running around, hustling. My coach told me, I remember after our scrimmage of one of the first games, he was like, "Hey, look, I don't need you to score. I just need you to get rebounds." And that was like the easiest way to tell me. I was like, okay, I know my role.
You don't have to touch the ball. Just give it to somebody else.
Just give me effort. I was like, I can do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Please don't shoot. Oh man. Yeah. Do you still do like pick up basketball or anything like that with the guys?
Oh yeah. Every time when the guys want to play, I'm down to do that. Show some people what up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the rebounding.
Right.
That's awesome. Okay. So that's something we always bring up though, is like youth sports now are so different. And even at the age of like 13, 10, it's like, oh, I'm just a baseball player. Right. And I feel like a lot of the guys, almost all of the guys and the girls, because we've had some girls from the women's basketball team. Yeah. Every single one of them is like, oh, I played all 4 sports in high school. Or, as I was growing up, I played 7 different sports, whatever it might be, no matter where they're from too. And you just don't see that as often anymore. So I like to get your perspective on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, it helps. I think it definitely helps with, you don't really move as laterally as you do in basketball than you do in football if you're, a certain position. But then in baseball, it's hand-eye coordination. It's all hand-eye coordination. And just all those different, I feel like every coach has said it now, like all those different types of movements are covered by different types of sports. And that's just, why not just do it?
Well, and you get the skills and then you get the different cultures. Because like you mentioned, baseball is different from football. The mentality is like boom, boom, of like football.
There's different types of guys in each different type of locker room. So you just learn. It was an experience. And I wish my junior and senior year, I had transferred to a different school. I just wish I did those stuff.
Well, and as a quarterback, it's important to know your guys, right? And to know how to get those guys.
Right.
I probably said this on the podcast before, but I remember telling Laura, because now I coach at a local high school. And I remember when I was at Iowa, some guy would be talked to differently than the way I was talking to. Mm-hmm. And I was like, BK, why are you playing favorites? And it's more so like, well, this is what I need to tell him to get the best out of him. Yeah. I don't have to tell you that to get the best out of you. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that each person needs a different motivation or different push to get them there. But it just looks weird if you're one of the players. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to get them to be better. And I feel like the different sports and, the different cultures and whatnot that kind of coexist in those sports then gives you the knowledge of like, okay, as a quarterback, to be able to work with all those guys to get the best out of them. Because we're all divas at receiver, but like the O-line are not divas, right? Like they know what their role is, right? They're going to go get it. So being able to balance that, I think, is what the main thing that you can get from sports.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Okay. So then you said you transferred?
Yeah.
When you were in high school. Tell me about that.
So you guys got to bear with me here. So after my sophomore year, it was 2019. And I had the opportunity to transfer to a prep school. It's called the Hun School.
Is that a big thing in New Jersey? I apologize.
Yeah. It is. It's either that or like parochial Catholic schools. So like Bergen Catholic, St. John Bosco.
And those are all like prep schools?
Yeah. So those are Catholic schools. And then the prep schools are like Hun, Lawrenceville, Hetty. They're a different type of, I don't know what the difference is between the two, but they're in different.
Is it different than normal high school?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know a lot of this.
We have
stuff.
Prep schools are like, you have a bunch of 5th year people or reclass people. And that's what I did. So like after my sophomore year at Montgomery, which was the public school I was at, I transferred, and I had the option to go straight into my junior year or reclass and do a sophomore year again.
Okay.
And basically it'd just be
an added year, essentially. Okay.
And so I wanted to do my junior year. I was like, I do not want to do a sophomore year again. Like, no, I don't want to go through all the English, math, and all that stuff.
Right.
But COVID literally happened, and I was like, well, this is a big year for recruiting. And I don't even know if we're going to play. Like, we had to practice with masks on. Like, it was
the helmet.
It was so bad. Like, well, so I found a way around it. I had like the pull-up mask, but I had to put my helmet on and then put the mask underneath it. And man, my breath smelled so bad
I can
throughout
imagine.
practice. Oh, so bad. But anyway, so I had a conversation with my dad, and I was just like, I don't even know if we're going to play this year, so I think I should just reclass. And he's like, yeah, I mean.
Were you playing at that time as a sophomore?
Yeah, so I played my freshman year.
Varsity?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have never played a down of freshman or JV football.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And, but what happened was I transferred, and then we ended up playing 6 games, and every week it was like, we didn't know who we were playing until Wednesday or Thursday.
Oh yeah, I remember all that.
Like we would have
Golly.
some team on the schedule. They would test positive, so they were canceled. And then we had to find a team, scramble to find a team to play. And, they had a positive contact or something like that. And then we got shut down for a week because a few of us had positive contact. So it was just like, it was a whole big year of chaos. And then my junior year was 2021, technically. Would have been my senior year.
Gotcha. But
I think it definitely helped in the long run because I only played 6 games that 2020 year.
Sure.
And then, my junior and senior year, I got 11 game seasons.
Were you getting recruited as a sophomore at the public at Montgomery or wherever?
Yeah, I guess I was getting looked at, but nothing too big.
Okay.
Just kind of like I was just any other kid, just going to camps and
Man, that's the way to do it,
just
man.
trying to make a name for
That's
myself.
how I got recruited.
Yeah, that's exactly where it started from. But then I'd say as I went to the prep school and, my coach was well respected within the recruiting community. He was able to get me in front of, coaches that, that trusted him and they saw potential.
That's big time.
Yeah.
So tell us about your coach.
So I have 2 great coaches back home. One's Todd Smith. He's the head coach of my old prep school. And then my quarterback coach that, I've worked with ever since my freshman year in high school is Tony Rassiopi. And they have been really, really influential people in my football development. And then also like my growth as a leader, quarterback, etc.
Human.
Yeah. Everything under the sun. I definitely would say Tony and I have just been, he sees a lot of me and him. So I guess that's why we bond so close. And he's trained a bunch of big time guys. He's trained Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
He's trained, I got to think.
I know Stanley went out there.
Petrus went out there. So he kind of has like that line of all of us that have played here. But
Sure.
Yeah, no, him and I have just gotten really close over the years. And then Todd and I, like, I was able to be his quarterback. So I was basically his field general, and everything he needed from the team, he just basically told me. And I was like, yeah, I got you. I can do that. But he definitely taught me how to like see the field, see the game, instead of just go out there and play like an athlete, which is what I did at Montgomery.
Sure.
Like I would just go out and play. But, Tony and him opened my eyes to so many different parts of the game of football.
It can get pretty complicated pretty quick.
Yeah. And that extra year of development with them, the 2 of them,
sure,
really helped. My senior year, I was able to just call out stuff. They basically handed me the keys of the offense.
Saying that's the coolest thing. Because then now, not only is it, okay, I'm knowledgeable of like, okay, I'm seeing cover 4 into the boundary. This is what I want to run. But now you're seeing it like, oh, I can call it because I know what concepts I want to run against cover 4.
Right.
And I know my guy's better than their guy on this side. And so like you can create those matchups.
Yeah.
That's something that I feel like a lot of high school quarterbacks don't quite get to.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you talk about, I guess, the way they influenced you just in your personal life too.
Yeah.
What were some of the most important things that those 2 coaches taught you as you were going through, football aside?
I would say the importance of mental toughness. Two of them, I had told them my goals, what I wanted to do, which was play Division I football. And they said they were going to push me to be that way. And, obviously everybody says, yeah, let's do it. But then when you're in the thick of the process and they're actually doing it, you're like, what are you doing? But like,
sure.
I had to understand where they were coming from. Like Tony coaches me very hard. Especially like even to the minuscule ball placement of certain throws. Like if I throw a hitch to the field right on the numbers, that's a bad ball because he wants it on the outside shoulder.
Because you turn up field. Coming here, yeah.
So they coach me really tough on that stuff. And then Smitty, his name's Todd Smith, so we call him Smitty. But he really, I didn't see what he was doing then, but he would really get on me at practice. He would really he was trying to see if he could break me. And I know, looking back on it in hindsight, I know where it was coming from, but in the thick of it, I was like, what does this guy have against me? What's his vendetta? But it was never a vendetta. It was just always pushing me to be better. And, I respond well to that. So I got to see my full potential now. Looking back on it, I'm like, well, I've also had the tools to, draw on that experience from what I went through, but also like he was pushing me to be good. And that's what I wanted to be. So, I'm thankful for that. I wouldn't want to coach like that or at that level, just be like, oh, hey, you're good.
Right.
Like you can get away with that. You're a good player. No, I wanted somebody who was going to push me, who was going to get me better and hold me accountable.
Well, I feel like part of that is, you talk about mental toughness. A good part of that, especially your position, is that constructive criticism.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't like to take criticism because like, oh, that was a perfect rep. Nah, should have been here.
Right.
Right. Like I hit him right here, the little things like that. And I think that probably then molded well into the Iowa way, which is little things are everything.
Oh, yes. 100%. We get preached that every day.
I mean, I'm sure the slight edge is still, there you go.
We had to read that.
Nice. So then, I mean, I feel like that's kind of probably a big culture shock for a lot of freshmen that come in, not just at Iowa, but just into college football, especially Division I, is like, oh, I don't just get a free ride because I was the man in high school, right? Your coach, like, you get the keys to the offense in a way that's, I can just kind of do whatever I want. No one's going to get on me because I'm doing great. Then you get here or wherever else, and it's like, oh, actually, you're not that good anymore.
Right.
But you kind of already had that.
Comparatively speaking, yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone's a dog in high school. That's what you always said.
Yeah. That's a fact. I mean, that's what got you there.
Thankfully for me at that prep school, you're around a lot of really good football players. So like, I mean, my offensive line 2 years ago, my center went to a Division III school. My right tackle went to Oklahoma. My left tackle went to Illinois.
Oh my goodness.
My left guard was a walk-on at Michigan. And then my right guard was he was a young kid, but he was really good. And then my running backs both went to Penn. My fullback went to Rutgers. My tight end went to Rutgers. My wide receiver on the left, he went to Temple. My wide receiver on the right went to Lehigh. So
what?
I was around a lot of
So
talent.
did you get here or did your boys get you here? No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But I was around a lot of talent, and I
then
guess
that elevates the
that
play of
elevates me,
everybody
but
else.
also that humbled me walking in here knowing I'm not going to be the guy. I'm just going to have to it's almost like high school where everybody's a dog. Everybody came from, they were the big fish in their pond. So I just had to learn how to manage those personalities at that level. So when I get here, it wasn't really that big of a difference because I knew we were all dogs, and I knew that everybody here is even a bigger dog. So we're gonna be the puppy at the table for a little bit. So
wow, that's actually really interesting. That is a perspective that I'm sure not a whole lot of freshmen have, to be surrounded by that many that many high level athletes. That's pretty incredible. So then you really got that opportunity to, like you said, trying to navigate all the different personalities and the diva-ness of the wide receivers, as you say.
Self-proclaimed. I mean, that's
not
real. I'm sure
my words.
Yeah, he even nodded his head. He knows.
But gosh, how did you learn how to do that? Did that just come with time? Was that something that your coaches helped you with, or is it just kind of a natural thing?
I guess I wasn't perfect at it.
Sure.
I started off my sophomore year butting heads with some older guys because, the personality I had from Montgomery, I was the big fish.
Sure.
Well, I go to a school like that and those guys are all really big fish. And I thought I was the big fish. So I kind of somehow.
So you had that adjustment.
Right. I had that adjustment. But I would say my junior year, I learned a lot about just working really hard and earning respect from guys. But then also I just learned a lot. Like I can't be your teammate if you don't see me in a personal light. Like I can't be demanding of something from you if you've never really got to know me or I've gotten to know you. So my junior year, I really worked on developing personal relationships with guys just so I could understand what makes them tick or what makes them or what drives them. And then so as I became the leader, I would say my junior year, I was the leader of the offense. I wasn't the leader of the team because we had some veteran guys that were seniors on defense that were really vocal. And I was like, okay, I don't really need to be that vocal this year. But, when we're in the huddle, I just need to be that calming sense. Like, hey, I'm going to do my job. Let's do our job. So I guess learning from those guys. And then also my senior year, I'd been around the block so many times. I knew, this was my team. I knew how to push people a certain way. Like I could tell people who needed encouragement when they were doing bad and the people who needed me to get on them by my senior year. And I definitely think I was respected a lot by my teammates in high school, but just because I'd never asked you to do something I wouldn't do. And I think that's the biggest pinnacle of being a leader. I can't ask something of you if I'm not willing to do it myself, or even 2 times is better.
Is there anybody that you, aside from your couple of coaches and obviously coaches here at Iowa and things like that, but anybody like podcasts that you listen to, books you read, anything like that of like people you look up to in leadership? Because all of this is like screaming like leadership podcast that I've listened to, like Jocko, like that kind of stuff. Is there anybody that you look up to, or this is all just kind of like natural?
This is all just been firsthand experience learning.
Interesting. Okay.
I've been blessed to have a really present father.
Yeah.
That has also just been a role model the best way he could for me in any situation. I feel like any decision he makes, he's just, I can see it now because I'm older, but I feel like he's always thinking about how I would view it. And so I've been blessed to have a father like that first. And then I met Tony and Smitty. And then obviously coming to Iowa, very structured program, leaders.
Right.
I mean, Coach Ferentz has been a staple of just, he's been here he's been for 20. I mean, he's been also around the block and he knows what he's talking about. So right. I guess my journey has just been full with a lot of, people that share great wisdom, bosses that have just been, they know what they're talking about.
That's incredible and really cool and humble of you to be able to like soak all of that in and apply it to your own way that you're playing football or way that you're living your life and things like that. What does your dad do for work?
He's in commercial real estate.
Matt's in real estate as well. Very cool. Yeah. Does your mom work?
Yes, she's a substitute teacher.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Very cool. And you guys are pretty close, huh?
Yeah.
How often do they get to come see you or you see them?
So my dad made it to every game last year.
Seriously?
Home and away.
Nice.
Wow.
When we played at Nebraska, after Thanksgiving dinner, he drove.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So, how far is
from
that drive?
Jersey?
Yeah, 15 hours.
15 hours? Yeah. That's amazing.
And then my mom, she made it out to a few games last year. But then I think they came one time in the winter. They came for the spring game. And then they came to move me in the other day. So yeah, that was nice.
That's really cool. So you and your dad really do have like an unbreakable bond.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you see that. And so God willing, you'll be a dad someday. We shall see. Like, what do you take from that experience with him and how he treats you and all of those things that you'll apply of like being a father someday, if you choose to be?
I would definitely, how you do anything is how the kid would learn from it. I'm saying, because I looked up to my dad and everything he did, whether he knows it or not. And I used to, like, you don't gain a lot of sight of what actually is happening until you're older. Mm-hmm. And like, he used to do this thing where when he got let go in the recession in 2008. Mm-hmm. And so he was working his tail off with his own business and all that stuff. I didn't know any of this. My parents did me a great great job of like shielding me of all the stuff that was going on within our world. And I mean, he used to work days, I would say throughout the week, probably like he would be gone when I woke up and he would come back right as I was going to bed. And he would always take the time to play a game with us and me and my siblings. Like he would hide and we would he would hide. We'd run around, try and find him. And then if we found him, he would chase us. And like, I didn't think about that, but like when I was older, I was like, dude, that guy must have been tired. Like he must have been wanting to go to sleep, but you know, he just wanted to bond with us. So I would say as a father, I mean, not that I'm ready to be one.
No.
I
said someday.
Definitely just being a role model in everything you do.
Yeah. So more of what you do over what you say, although that plays into it as well. Mm-hmm. So you say that going back to when you were in high school, you kind of mentioned that your junior year, less of a vocal leader and more of a
by example.
By example. Thank you. Are you still that way? Are you a little more vocal? How do you kind of see your leadership style?
I think it grows with every year. Mm-hmm. Last year I was a freshman, so I understood my place.
Sure.
And you know, when you got guys like Cade McNamara in your room, who's also, you know, he's won a Big Ten championship. He's been to the college football playoff. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just a blessing to be able to learn from somebody like that. And then also on defense, like I've looked around those guys like Jay Higgins, I've seen Cooper DeJean, and these guys, I've watched the way they do it. And I'm also like knowing my role. So I'm starting to understand different types of ways I can lead. And, you know, one way that could be was maybe not leading. I could show the older guys what I'm trying to do by just giving my best every single day. And, you know, being as best of a teammate as I can to other guys and being supportive and all that stuff. But I just want the older guys. I think the biggest fear I've ever had is just letting guys down. Mm. That's the only thing that, I mean, just letting your teammates down is the worst feeling, I think. Yeah. And so I just want to show the older guys, like, you can count on me and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And then the guys in my class, you know, we're the same age, so we've been kind of through the same experiences. So I'm a little more vocal with them. Mm. But I guess that leadership just changes over time.
Sure.
Me being a leader last year will definitely be different than how it is this year. And then, you know, 3 years down the road, I'll be a different leader than I am now.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Well, and you're in a position at a place, I shouldn't say position, but you're at a place where next man in is like that's a mentality, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure KF's talked about Sam Brownlee being the 6th running back on the depth chart, and yet he finds his way onto the field, right?
Right.
Obviously Deacon had to step in last year at your position.
Right.
And there's going to be shifting, and I'm sure KF talks about that during camp, during spring ball, of like who's going to emerge and who's going to have their shot, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like knowing that you always have an opportunity, it's not like I feel like there's a competitive edge of being able to compete with guys in a fun way. That's like, we're both trying to get better.
Right.
I'm not trying to be better than you so I get the spot. It's more so we both grow and then the team gets better. And I think being at Iowa can kind of help with that, because especially when you're trying to just show the older guys, I'm going to put in the work, I'm going to do what I need to do. Because you might not get a week 1, might not get a week 2, but week 7, you might have to come in on a 3rd down because something happened. And it's like, okay, we trust Marco. He's shown us X, Y, and Z throughout the offseason.
Right.
So I think that leadership style, being able to be there for that long, lends itself to be in a good spot when you're in Iowa.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with that.
Are you looking for a website that boosts your online presence and showcases your brand? Look no further than Digital Boost, locally owned and operated website company that delivers high-quality websites at affordable prices. Whether you need a simple landing page, a full-fledged e-commerce site, or custom-tailored marketing solutions, Digital Boost has you covered. Contact them today and get a free quote by emailing Curtis at digitalboostia.com. Digital Boost, the website company that gives you a boost.
Rest easy when you have the Bugman's top-rated defense protecting your home and business, providing maintenance and prevention treatments for any problem. Call today for a free quote, 563-554-BUGS. You'll also receive a 15% discount off your first treatment if you mention the podcast. Bugman Pest Control, proudly serving the Hawkeye State since 2008. The Appliance Barn offers a wide range of high-quality appliances at unbeatable prices. Whether you're in the market for a new refrigerator, dishwasher, or washing machine, they've got you covered. They also have a delivery and setup department to ensure your appliances get delivered and installed quickly. To find out more, visit appliancebarn.com. Looking to update your home with a remodel, new addition, or new build? Contact MJC Carpentry, a local and reliable contractor with over 10 years of experience based in North Liberty, Iowa. MJC Carpentry's highest priority is crafting a perfectly tailored home. Visit their website, www.micahjconstruction.com, to learn more. And for a free estimate and consultation, don't hesitate to call 319-461-4786.
Locally owned and operated, Performance is a full-service restoration company serving Eastern Iowa. As an IICRC certified firm, their multi-licensed technicians have decades of experience in water, mold, and fire mitigation. Whether it's your home or business, this is the team you want in a time of need. Performance Restoration. Call 319-626-2292.
Okay, hardest thing about being a quarterback.
I
feel like there's so many things.
Question. I would say
Learning a new system. We haven't talked about that yet.
yeah, we can get to that.
We won't go deep into it,
but I would say the hardest thing about being a quarterback, people don't understand the mental aspect of it, like the IQ and the intelligence that you need to have when you play it, because there's so many different factors that go on. You need to know what formation you are in, what motions you have. All right, what's the snap count? What's the defense in? How many safeties do they have? What are my corners' leverage? What's their depths? What are my linebackers at? What's the front? What's the protection? What are the routes? What if they give me this look? Well, wait, that guy's, half a step down there. So I'm gonna expect this type of coverage. Oh shoot, the play clock's down to 2 seconds. I gotta call the snap. And then on top of the snap, you need to the post snap of it is the crazy part of it, where everything's happening in full speed and you got to make decisions that 70,000 people are expecting you to make perfectly.
Every time?
Every time. And, that's the bed we made. So we have to sleep in it. But understanding that part, because you can go out there and just run around and throw a ball, but it might work 1 out of 10 times, but the 9 out of 10 times people are going to be calling for your head. But just learning about the mental intelligence of it. I've obviously had a process to do that, but yeah, that's the toughest part about playing it.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And like you said, that's something that most people don't even pay any mind to at all. It's like, well, yeah, that's expected of you. But at the same time, I've
been trying to educate.
I know, but I'm saying what do they call them? The armchair coaches, or what do they say? Something like that.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah. And it's like, well, just throw the ball.
Right.
Don't throw the ball that way. Throw it, whatever.
Right.
That guy's wide open.
Yeah.
But in your mind, it's, well, yeah, he was wide open. But when this was this and that was that at that time, And
then you got guys who are tall in front of you, and then you got guys on the other side trying to take your head off. So yeah, all that's happening and like that.
So crazy. Did you ever play any other positions? Obviously it would have been before high school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually,
you played defense at some point.
I did. So my dad was a linebacker. And shoot, I love linebacker. My dad probably didn't like coaching me because I just blitzed every play. I was I was the middle linebacker in Pop Warner. So I would just be like, if I get to the quarterback, he would be like, you got to drop in coverage. I was like, Dad, if he's on the ground before, he throws a ball, ain't that the right play? So, but in high school, actually, funny story. So I was athletic enough to become the backup going into the first game of the varsity year. And I didn't play that game. And then the next game, what had happened was my friend was also a true freshman. He was a running back. He showed up late to a coach's class. So he benched him for the first quarter, I believe. And we needed a running back. And we had been down running backs in all of camp. And coach called me in and he's like, hey, do you want to play running back? He's like, you're the only one who knows his stuff. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And my first carry was a touchdown. My second touch was a 70-yard screen pass for a touchdown.
Jeez.
And my third touch was a 50-yard run. And I was
Did you get pulled after the first quarter?
I was like, maybe I'm a running back.
Right.
I think I'm going to be a running back. And then I'll never forget it. The week after that, we went to we went to Warren Hills and we had a rollout play. And for some reason, I was looking out there and I was like, I blanked on who I had to block because I forgot who the tackle had.
Mm.
And so I came out and I just chose the widest guy, but that was the tackle because we did a different blocking style. And the inside guy ran up and took the quarterback's knee out.
Oh.
So then I went in.
Oh my goodness.
So you were a backup running back that because of your mishap on the block then became the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's unreal. Dang.
So,
and you're how tall right now?
I am 6'2".
A 6'2" running back. How common is that?
Not super common.
Yeah. That'd be kind of
I
crazy.
feel like they're normally around like 6 foot.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
6'2" running back. It's a big boy.
That's big.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like Derrick Henry. How tall is he?
I think he's either 6'2" or 6'4". He
There
might be
you go.
6'4".
Yeah.
He could have been that.
He also like 250.
Yeah, he's a
So
I'm not
talk
as
me
big as him.
through your recruiting process. What was that like
Mhm.
for you?
Yeah, so it picked up, like I said, I didn't really get anything my first 2 years. And a lot of people are, like a lot of parents nowadays are so adamant about getting their kid in front of people as a freshman and all that stuff.
Mm.
Like, honestly, you don't know how that kid's going to be in 2 years, 3 years. So, I mean, my development was really late. Like, obviously, I was good, raw, athletic as a freshman, but I wouldn't say I was like a college quarterback until my senior year. And like, if you were to like look at me my freshman year, they thought I'd been a good, college player, but you don't know where, at what
Mhm.
level, because you're athletic. But then also the progression of that was, towards the back half of my high school career. So it really picked up, I want to say, my junior year. After my junior year, I was getting recruited by a bunch of schools, Iowa, Michigan State, Illinois. I figured I was going to be a cold weather kid. So that my recruitment was kind of telling me that. I was like, okay, I'm going to stay where it's cold. And then I committed to Iowa early. I want to say December of that year. And I stayed through it. I had gotten a few other schools after that. And I'm a very loyal person by nature. So I was like, no, I made this decision. I'm going to go get it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Who recruited you?
From here, Ken O'Keefe
Kenny O.
and Brian Ferentz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So Ken O'Keefe would have left.
Yeah, he left before I got here.
Okay.
Yeah, but so that left me under Brian's jurisdiction, and he also
Sure.
recruited me too. So
Gotcha.
that's fine.
Got it. Okay. So there wasn't any moment where you're like, oh, shoot.
No.
Loyal by nature.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. Very cool. So you get on campus at Iowa. What was the first like shell shock moment? Did you have one at all? Was there anything where you're like, oh, I didn't expect this? Or even whether it's like in a good way or a bad way?
I would say,
And it doesn't have to be football related, by the way. If the winters just suck, that could be part of it too.
no. I would say, I don't know, just maybe the first like padded practice of, and I was put in Devo.
Can you explain that just for people
So
who are listening?
Devo is developmental period, which is basically the younger guys get reps.
Okay.
But the scary part is all the older guys are watching and they are making noise.
Mm.
And
all the young guys have no idea what they're
they
doing.
have no idea what we're doing, but everybody's going 110 miles an hour. And you're thinking so much and it's just like everything's just chaos. And I'm with a group I've never met before, and now we're in a full team setting. And then like it's live, so
You guys
whatever
were live
happens,
early?
it's live. And that was like my first shell shock. I was like, whoa. And the speed of the game was just so much faster.
Okay.
And even in like 7-on-7s, Xavier Nwampa, he is really good at changing his direction post snap to what it looks like pre-snap. So like I look at him and I anticipate something else. And on the snap of the ball, he's completely over there. And I'm like, how did he do that? And so, and I just realized the windows were so much tighter. It was just a big shell shock. But obviously you learn by drinking out of a fire hose in that type of way. So
I've never heard that. It's funny.
yeah, that's how I learned. At least that's how my first year went. But yeah, that definitely was a shell shock. And then positively, like, I guess the training room, like, that was pretty cool because
Yeah.
my training room at my other schools was just like a box.
Sure.
But yeah, all those different type of amenities. The stadium was pretty nice when I first, got to be on Kinnick and all that stuff. So yeah, those were experiences I had.
Yeah. First time coming out to Back in Black. What was that like for you?
Oh, that was sick.
That's my favorite question.
I remember I was walking out and I remember like looking up towards the south end zone and I was like, holy cow, there's people up there. I was like, they're here to watch us. I was like, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then, as you walk down the tunnel, there's people like smacking on the boards and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Legit.
Come out right next to that student section, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And they are loud too.
Yes, that is for sure. What is your maybe least favorite away game that you guys have played? And not because of how the game went, but like least favorite stadium that you guys have played at? Just like atmosphere based, maybe.
I gotta think.
Or favorite. You could do favorite too.
So my favorite, and you might have to meet Nebraska.
Really?
Nebraska was loud. It was amazing. Like the environment was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys are 5 and 6. And like they sold this place out.
Yeah.
And that when Chubba Purdy threw a deep ball to whoever that was, and he caught it, that was the loudest I've ever heard a stadium erupt.
Really?
Their touchdown?
It was like screeching. Yeah. And then the worst, probably Penn State, like they put us in like a box. Like our visiting locker room was like I don't know, it was like nothing bigger than like a first floor of like a kitchen or something like that. It was like small boxes like this, all that.
Where your stuff is like
all
flooding out to the
all
next
your
guy's
stuff's like
locker.
flooding, and we're like and there's a low ceiling, and we're just in a box, and then you come out and you walk straight, and you have to walk through fans to get to the field. Like, so there's 2 security guards, and you're walking out, and they grab like a rope because everybody else is going through their way to get to their seats. But then when you guys come, they grab a rope and they rope it off, and you just walk through, and people are just
they
screaming at you. Yeah, and I was like, this sucks. Yeah.
So have you gotten to play at Iowa State or gotten to be in their stadium?
Oh yeah, I was at Iowa State. That was a pretty nice stadium.
Yeah.
That's my favorite place to play.
Yeah, that was
outside of Kinnick.
The grass is nice there.
The grass is always pristine because you play them early, so you get the good grass, and they hate you so much that you're like,
right.
We also didn't lose over there, which helps when I was there. But like
Wrigley Field was nice.
Okay.
That was an experience I got to
well, both teams on the same sideline had to have been wild.
That week of practice was that week of practice, like we practiced when the offense, so you would have a section of the field where you're practicing on, like, so if you're in the red zone, we were doing the red zone period, everybody would go down to the other side of the field on the sideline. And like we were doing signals last year, so I had to look at whoever was signaling, and I was like,
hit me again.
Hey, give me again, because I can't see it that far. And but yeah, that was an experience. But so we were in the Cubs locker room, and that was pretty sick.
Yeah, but that
was pretty cool. It was just cool to see like the bullpen underneath the ground and all that stuff. It was pretty sick.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. So you look at the quarterback's room right now at this moment. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
June of 2024. Tell me about what's the room feel like right now? How's everybody doing? Yeah. How's Cade? How are you? I mean, how is everything like feeling as of now?
I definitely think we're going to go through an unprecedented period because our room just completely got, dismantled.
Yeah.
And now we're adding 3 new guys, and it's going to be definitely an experience to learn who they are as teammates, and then also just pushing each other, like you said, to be the best we can be. It's not trying to be better than the next guy and all that stuff. Me and Cade have grown close.
Yeah.
Because I think he's realized that I want to be really good, and it's like I'm watching Suits right now, and he's like the Harvey Specter, and like I'm feeling like Mike Ross,
Okay.
So like I feel like our relationship has really grown because he's just like an older brother, and you know, sometimes you want to punch the older brother, but sometimes like, you know,
I get it.
you love him to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's definitely how our relationship has grown. And then these new guys coming in, it'll be interesting to see like, you know, who they are and just obviously how we can push each other.
Yeah.
That along with obviously the coaching change.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
yeah,
not
yeah.
just the coaching change, it's also a system change.
Right.
And we don't got to go into the X's and O's of stuff like that. But is it a completely different system in terms of like verbiage? Because I know going from Coach Davis, so I had Coach Davis for 4 years,
Mhm.
and then my 5th year was Brian.
Mhm.
And like words and numbers got completely flip flopped, and it takes time to like learn
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Is that something where like verbiage can at least help you continue to learn, or is it something like, okay, everything's new, so we kind of have to start from scratch?
Yeah, I would say verbiage is pretty different.
So it is almost like restarting in
Right.
terms of the way the
Yeah.
way your mind is trying to process it.
And so the thing that I benefited from was I got here in the summer of last year, and you know, they're not really, the season's right around the corner, so they're not going to teach you the playbook spoon fed. I had to.
Because I mean, camp they just give you
Right.
you got 12 plays on day one.
Right. I had to
Okay.
learn. I had to drink out of a fire hose my first year.
Sure.
I had to just ask questions left and right. I was like, "What's this? What's that? What's that?" And just
Mm.
until I could like grasp a concept, maybe, and then I would just go over it over and over and over again, so I can know what I was doing. But this year, it's a fresh start, and like I'm able to basically start from ground zero.
And you had it
And
from
just-
spring, right?
right, and just build up. So I definitely think I understand it a lot more than I did all of last year,
Sure.
because all of last year, like, you know, if you don't get here,
Well, you're in the thick of it too.
right. If you're you're put right in the thick of it. And then on top of that, Joe Labus got hurt in fall camp last year, and Cade was still recovering. So on top of that, they threw me with the twos.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I had no idea. Like I would come up to the line of scrimmage, and like I had to set the protection last year, and
Dang.
like you got Tyler Ellsbury, who's a 4th year center, looking
Sure.
at me for the call, and I'm like, let's just go with that guy. Like,
Right.
and like,
And when he means set the protection, it's how the line moves according to what linebacker he's pointing at. So he's
Right.
saying he just pointed at a random linebacker, like go based off him.
Yeah,
That's
like,
the buck.
just go there, just go there. And so that was basically that was fall camp for me, running with the twos.
Man.
And then like when I got put as a second stringer later during the year, I had a better sense of what I was doing, but I was still going through a learning curve.
Yeah.
And then
Well, and you got 8 plays for this week.
Right.
And you got, you
right,
got
and then on top of that, there's
yes.
game planning. So and then we had new plays, we had variations of plays. So I was trying to do algebra while knowing pre-calc, you know. Yeah.
You know what's funny about that is I think about like sometimes there'll be these videos from fall camp or be videos from like whatever, some random practice. And you're like throwing bombs, like throwing dimes. And people are like, why isn't this guy starting?
Right.
Meanwhile, you're like, I'm just trying to grasp the concepts.
Right.
And they
I'm
have
just
like,
pointing to backers. I don't,
Right.
and like obviously the normal person that's outside of the walls of the facility has absolutely no idea. So it's just really interesting to hear you say that because it's
Right.
like there really is very little knowledge of what exactly is happening at
Yeah.
practice with you guys, your mentality, like all
Right.
of the things, right? So that is so funny to me.
It's also good
Um,
that you can look back and laugh at it. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt you.
yeah. Totally. Let's just go with that guy. That is going to stick with me. That's very funny. Other hobbies. What are some things you like to do outside of football?
I like to read.
Read. Okay.
I'm actually reading The Shining right now.
Interesting.
Okay.
I like something that's just not going to let me put it down.
Mhm.
And so I'm definitely reading. I want to read that. And then also, I haven't seen the movie. So I definitely want
helps.
to.
I was going to ask if you were
I want to read it.
but
And then I want to see the movie.
Okay.
I like Hunger Games too.
okay.
Mhm.
And then,
Harry Potter, anything like that, Lord of the Rings or nothing?
no, I'm not a Harry Potter guy. And
Luke Lachey came on
Lachey's
here.
going to kill me. because-
Well, he came on and said he's got the whole kit and
yeah, he's
caboodle.
a big Harry Potter guy. And then other hobbies, love music.
Who do you listen to?
I listen to anybody.
Mm.
You can ask my sisters. My playlist is 830 songs long,
Oh
and
my.
it ranges from I got Rick Astley to Key Glock. So
I don't know either of those people.
You can go through
Key
all.
Glock is a rapper.
Right.
Okay, and who's the first
Rick
guy?
Astley, what was he? 80s?
Yeah, he was the 80s.
Maybe he's.
Yeah.
I think he's somewhere around there.
Much more
I'm
cultured
not
than I am
as
in that
familiar,
aspect.
but-
Yeah, and then other than that, just like hanging out with the boys. That's fun.
Yeah.
You play cards?
Actually, that might be past your time. We don't do that anymore.
Past
We
your
just
time.
play games on the.
Bro, I ain't even 30 yet.
He's like, that's past your time. We're on electronics now.
No, I've definitely heard of like some card games that I
We used to
just
play euchre every Friday in the hotel, Friday night.
I got to get on that.
What do you guys do Friday nights before games in the hotel? What's the go-to?
Either we've watched some horror movies.
Okay.
Or there's like some sort of movie that they have. But mostly we just eat like a snack together and I really like those nights.
You talking like a snack after the pregame, like we're talking like the Friday night, like you go down there, you get the burger at Kirkwood at like 8:30,
right.
get the ice cream and then
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and you just bring it up and then you just eat it together.
No, so we sit there and like it could be like you could probably be eating for like 10 minutes, but man, I had some funny conversations. Like those would be the running back sat with the quarterbacks, and LaShawn Williams, he can tell a story, man.
Really?
Yeah, we would listen to him like for so long. And he would just tell us stories about him in high school, and me and Max White would laugh. It's just a really good bonding time, and you guys are just telling stories. Everybody's relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the next day everybody's focused,
Right.
But the night before is pretty fun.
That's awesome. What do you prefer for game time? 11 a.m., 2:30, 3 o'clock, 7? Is that a night game start time?
2:30.
2:30?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Your whole day is shot. And you have to wait all morning and you're all nervous all day long.
Well, they give us a schedule,
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but you're still sitting there.
right? But the 11 a.m. that's tough, man.
That's the best.
No, because I remember this year we had the 11 a.m. versus Utah State. I think it was. That was easy because it was the first game I was ready to go. But we played somebody at 11 halfway through the season, and like I remember waking up and like just like damn, like I am tired, because like there's like some free time. You go down to eat, you go back to your room, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I had like a certain routine that I did.
Mm.
In the 11 a.m., I had been 2:30, 6:30, all the later games. The 11 a.m., I was like, oh shoot, I need to do my routine.
Mm.
So yeah,
Gotcha. Threw you off a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not a morning person?
I would say I'm a forced morning.
I was gonna say it.
Kinda have to be now.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys stayed up too late having snacks the night before.
Right.
The
Snacks
11.
and watching movies. That does not sound like a Friday night pregame thing.
Telling stories.
But
Yeah,
we'll go with
That's
that.
awesome. We got to get LaShawn on here. He'd be a great podcast
Oh,
guest, don't
he's
you
great.
think?
Yeah. Oh my God, he'd tell you some stories.
All right. Drop a note for us. I was going to go back to you saying that you and Cade are super close. Like you kind of have this like brother relationship now. What are some of the things that he has taught you in the last, I guess, year by now? Because you said you got here last summer.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's been about a full year. What are some things that you've kind of soaked in from him and kind of taken from his game or his mentality? What's that kind of been like?
Oh, he probably doesn't know it, but I watch everything he does.
Yeah.
Like, I am wanting to be around him in every situation I can be in just to learn. One thing, like it can be from football IQ, general football IQ to basically, that guy's been through a lot.
Mm.
So like we had a heart to heart one time after a practice, and I really gained respect for who he was because of what he went through. But like on the football front, I used to think of like just seeing man coverage as kind of like a demeanor thing, like coming up pre-snap and all that stuff. But he kept seeing man to man in fall camp so fast. And I was like, how do you see that? He's like, we go a formation with one tight end and two receivers, and I see a corner run over immediately. I know it's man. I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even think about that. Like he started looking at players, not so much like the shell of the coverage. He looked at players to give him information about all a bunch of stuff, and then also just how he works out. Like I've been around him when he throws, and like he's putting himself in situations every single rep. It's not like we're not throwing a 10-yard out. It's like we're getting too high. We're expecting cover 2, And so we're expecting him to convert. And on the snap, the safeties roll and your corners drop off. Now you're throwing a 10-yard out in rhythm. And like that, just seeing the way he thinks that fast, the way he processes information, it's a blessing to be around. And then also another thing is like I watch his eyes. Like sometimes when he throws the ball, his eyes never leave the target. And like quarterbacks, we want to see our pretty spiral. And I have that problem. Sometimes I want to see how pretty the ball looks.
Sure.
He never does that. And it's no secret why he's so accurate, because he's locked in on a target and he's always drilling it. And so that's also been something I've picked up from him. And then also just mentality wise, he's been through a lot just with 2 ACLs.
We had Cade on the podcast and he talked for a little bit about it. I'm sure you got more in depth, but it's definitely an interesting story.
Yeah. And just all that going through COVID in college football, all the above. I mean, he's got a bunch of stories. So.
Yeah. I was going to ask you too about your bracelets. You have a lot on. Tell me about them.
Yes. This was gifted to me by a friend. It says, "I will fear no evil." And then obviously this is one that actually 3 of these are Brian Ferentz quotes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
He's no matter what anybody says about him, I would take a bullet for that man.
Yeah.
He was awesome. He was great for my development. He was great for, having a coach that I remember he said to me one time, he's like, "I don't care what the world thinks about me." He's like, "My job is to make you the best you can be." And he's like, I'm in your corner. And like having him say that to me, like I'm a loyal guy. And I was like, yeah, I'm with you. Like I'm riding with you, so he was really awesome. But anyway, so he's got control. He said he was a big stress of the controllables. So I put controllables on my wrist of just being in control of what you can control, which basically your attitude, your effort.
Right.
And just
how you respond to situations.
Right. And I know where he gets it from because Coach Ferentz, he hammers that. And I'm sure you know that.
Make the makeables.
Yep, make the makeables. And then another thing he says is do your job. And that's what this one is. Do your job to the best of your ability. And then he always preaches being fearless. So I like that stuff. And then this one, so this is my dad's college union football. I feel a connection to him when I have it on. And then believe in yourself is here. And then never give up is here. Okay.
You just got to get some tattoos. Then you don't have to wear all those all the time.
Well, you don't put bumper stickers on a Ferrari.
My mom used to say that to me.
Right.
That's funny.
Right.
That's very good. 2 good sayings. The fire hose one and the Ferrari one.
Right.
Well done. I can tell you have a dad because those are some dad sayings for sure.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Marco, this has been so great.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. We have had
thanks
the
for
best
coming
time just getting to know you a little bit better. I feel like there hasn't been enough out there about Marco Lainez and really just about where you came from, your background, all that kind of stuff. So this has just been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We wish you the best of luck this coming season.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.